friend calls to invite you on a drive, they tell you they need your help, but they can't tell you where you're going. They can't tell you how far it is, and they can't tell you what's going to happen once you reach your destination. Are you going, Gigi? And
No.
and you can explain your answer.
No. First of all, I'm the type of person I try to plan things out.
Mhm.
So if I've already got everything planned and you're just coming to me saying, stop what you're doing and follow me, first of all, I don't follow anybody. So I'm sorry, can't do that. Like, I've got to know where I'm going,
Details.
how long I'm gonna be gone. I've got to know that. Like, I can't go anywhere if I don't.
Right. I'm so sorry. I gotta stop looking at them doggone comments. Let me talk about, is there a poll involved? I love that word, Gigi. All right. Stay fit. What you got?
This is simple for me. If this is a friend of mine, I must be a friend of theirs. And if I'm a friend of theirs, they know me better. So they know they know not to ask me that without giving me additional information. So the
I
answer
love
is no, I'm not going.
it.
And
Got
and then and it has to be a friend. If it's a friend of mine, they'll provide the information needed.
you. Exactly. So y'all ready for the twist? Everybody in the comments ready? So the question is, what about when God says the same thing? What is the difference, Gigi?
You know what? Really, truly, for me, there is no difference. Only because if he told me exactly where I was going and what I was going to have to go through, I'm going to have to tell him no, so.
So you see where I'm going? Look at Sardia in the crying. Dang, Sardia. Hold on, Gigi. Stay fit. What you got? What about when God says the same thing? Is there a difference for you?
Well, God is God. So if I'm comparing a friend to God, that's tough.
Yeah.
But I can a friend has to call me, but
Hmm.
I feel God, so that's different to me.
Right. I love that. So for you, because that's the other element to this. Right? Really, just said it again to y'all. It's the trust factor, right? Question is, what about when God asks the same thing? What is the difference? Trust. Put our trust in man before we put our trust in God. A lot of us, right? Hey, get the guy. Y'all see what I'm saying? See where that it's an interesting analogy, obviously, but the way
It
that we're able
is.
to feel the impact of this, though, is to set it up that way, right?
But it also, again, it's also like some things, if I knew that I had to go through, I'm sorry, I'm not super Christian. Like some things I am not gonna volunteer and say, Lord, strike me all the time, do it to me, give me the worst. I can't, I couldn't, I can't. And for those that can, thank God there are people like that, but I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I couldn't
that's the
do it.
difference too, Gigi. I think that starts to get into the levels of relationships, right? We all have an individual journey, right? And some people trust
Yes.
more than others, right? Some people will take that quote unquote, we've heard it, leap of faith.
People say they trust him, but then they never take that step. But
Oh,
do you really
yeah.
trust him? Because you're not living in the abundance of what he said. Like a lot of times, especially as Christians, we take whatever the world throws at us and says, that's okay. We're going to include it into what we have. Like religion now is full of so many other things because
We've made it
we
our own.
accepted some things.
We keep moving the goalposts. Remember I said that the other day? So y'all see how that it's like I love that statement say, hey, if I'm looking at my friend and comparing them, and Miss China said in the comments too, that's mistake number one. And then help me to walk away from any God that tries to take your place. Y'all, it's our friends and relationships too. We'll say that thinking of a thing. No, it's people, it's relationships. Some of us will hop in that car without asking any questions, right? But it depends. MJ said it first. It depends on who it is, right? But when it comes to, hey, I've got this thing in me, I think Stay Fit, you kind of alluded to that, right? You said you feel God, right? You said you got to call your friend, but that's the other difference to me, all right? If you're developing the spiritual relationship, that's I feel like the growth and evolution that takes place individually too, right? Slowly start to see when you learn how to navigate and operate. Does that make sense?
Add to that is I've yet to hear God tell me my bad. I've
Oh,
heard a friend say that. So a friend can lead you somewhere and it not be to your liking, or there be some discrepancies there, and then be my bad. And in your forgiving heart, you're like, yes, my friend, I gotta forgive him. But God hadn't done that. So therefore, you telling me a friend, no, I'm good.
But it helps you to put, like, when we're talking about this, y'all, do you see how that helps you to put some of this stuff in a perspective? Right? It's just helping us to look at things a whole different way too when we're talking about spring cleaning, right? If there's certain people in my life that wouldn't be caught, you know what, in a car with them. Right? If that's your conversation, that person might need to go too. Because at the end of the day, when we know this, a little analogy we're using though, let's think about our circle. Is there anyone though, right, that I would just, could my sister call me and say, Dana, hey, I got something I need to do. And I'm like, hey, well, how long is it going to take? Would I still do it? Y'all feel what I'm saying? Or is it only God? Zimmy popped up. Zimmy, what you want to add to the conversation?
I don't know. I needed to chime in on this one.
Come on in.
I'm all about adventures and new things and taking last minute trips and all that. But in this situation, I would really have to trust the person, like,
You'll be at
you
the whole
know,
level, a different level.
yeah, coming in and saying, "Hey, let's go." I'm good for that. But also, I think about when I was down on my knees that day,
Mm-hmm.
asking for help from God to get me sober or to help me get sober. There
Mm-hmm.
wasn't anybody around. Oh, I'm getting chills. There
It's
wasn't
okay.
anybody around in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and that to me is complete trust and letting go and, you know,
To the
crying my feelings out. And that to me was, the trust that I felt in that moment could never compare to another human being. Because human beings are fallible. God's not
Mhm.
fallible.